It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Johnny Be Good.
Here we go. This one has some Archie Sonic questions and some general Sonic questions and some other stuff. So, yeah, should be exciting. Let's go ahead and get into it. We know that pre-reboot Earth was turned into Mobius as a consequence of the Zorda dropping their gene bombs. Did anything of interest happen to the rest of our solar system, or was it left more or less intact?
From what I recall, there wasn't any other activity across the solar system in that continuity, so there shouldn't have been anything else going on. I think it was just Earthlings on Earth, and the Jorda were like, I don't like that, and then...
Wow. Incredible. No Martians? Nothing like that? Wow.
That's really what the series needed, too. Martians.
Well, it would have been an inevitability if it stayed in the hands that it had been in when the aliens were first introduced. How much do you think the United Federation in the Archie pre-SGW timeline was able to preserve from Earth's records predating the Zorda attack?
This is assuming that the United Federation existed before the Zorda event. And I can't immediately recall off the top of my head if it was implied that they did. I don't think so. I think the whole Station Square was the last human settlement thing was established, and then it's like, oh wait, the games are introducing more human settlements. There were other underground settlements, and they're under the United Federation, sure. So I don't know, because that might have been just kind of a piecemeal patchwork excuse to put things together and try to bring things more in sync. I don't necessarily would have worked retroactively.
Yeah. Who would win in a wizard duel between Ixixnagus and Salem Saberhagen before they turned him into a cat?
If we're talking like manga-styled Sabrina, Salem Saberhagen, Nagus ain't gonna last a second, for pity's sake. Like, Salem was a bit of a goof, to be sure, but he was surprisingly ruthless, and had he not been stopped by the Queen of the Magic Realm, he was going to quite literally bulldoze the rest of that plane of existence. So, let him go whole hog on Nagas. I think Nagas is in trouble. They would certainly have to go a few rounds. Nagas isn't going to be a pushover, and their shared arrogance would lead to a lot of false starts and what should have been a win by now falling through. But I'm biased, to be sure, but I'm going to give this one to Salem.
All right. How long would it take for someone to learn to use the Chaos Force or Ixian magics? Is it something you need a vague magic potential to pull off? Or would something with more elemental oomph, like a dragon, have an easier time of it?
I don't think that was ever really specified, but going from what I remember, Chaos Force might have been more biologically inclined. Like certain individuals would be more disposed or predisposed to being able to access it. Whereas magic, I think, was just a system that could be learned. Individuals would have greater talent or affinity, like any other skill in the world, but I want to say magic would have been more accessible, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm. In the reboot timeline, Julian Snively was cooking up a scheme involving the Ark, the Master Emerald, and an X-14 satellite that I didn't recognize. Was the X-14 a deep cut that went over my head, or something brand new?
Not X-14, multiplication times sign 14.
Oh.
As in 14 satellites. As in 7 divided by 2.
Oh.
Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink.
Oh.
Cough, cough.
So the emeralds? Is that what you're talking about? Were they emerald-powered satellites?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay. All right. I see what's going on here. I see what you're doing.
You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah. Emeralds again, huh? By the time of the reboot, we know that Eggman was cyberizing his minions and working on a new type of robotization to make up for the fact that he could not use the old method anymore. Since we know the BEM weren't around, what inoculated the planet from the classic roboticizers in the reboot?
It's been a while, but I think the plan was to use Sonic Advance 3 as the kind of parallel point to say robotization didn't work anymore. Because Sonic Advance 3 is Eggman messing with time and space and splitting the world into pocket dimensions, and then the heroes fix it. And the explanation was going to be that when they fixed it, things were not exactly as they were before, and the process no longer worked. I think we were also going to explain some of Nagus's nonsense there too as well, but it's been a long time since I've had to keep up with that continuity.
Good old Nagus nonsense. If you had to find room for Robotnik's crazy cousin Dr. Warpnik on the Robotnik family tree, where would you place him?
It's funny, we just covered that on another mini.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, given what a freak Warpnik was, you would follow the branch, it would enter a wormhole, you'd have to turn the page, it would go to another page, you would be very sad you were looking at this page, because what are you even looking at? Is that even a branch anymore? Why does it have hair and eyes? I don't like this. And you close the book.
Well, there we go. All right, moving on from the Archie Sonic questions into some general Sonic questions. On a clear day, can the Lost Hex be seen from the ground? How about from space?
I don't know. I am guessing that the implication is that Lost Hex is kind of perpetually in a cloud bank and is not observable, and it might be stationary and in a remote part of the world where people just don't generally go. And from space, maybe you just see this weird cloud bank that just sits over the ocean and doesn't go anywhere. I really don't know. I don't think it's been specified.
Could you spitball a name for the unnamed UF president? I'm not asking what his official name is, since that would require you to consult Sega and the lore team, but I'll take anything so I can call him something besides Mr. President. Literally anything. Kyle, I understand if Ian isn't comfortable answering this one, but I'll need you to call out a random name that sounds sufficiently American if he can't.
Well, if we're just doing silly placeholders, I don't know, call him Woodrow Baseball. That sounds very American.
Woodrow Baseball. Eagle Talon.
I don't know. President Talon sounds pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a car, but still.
That just shows his political drive.
Stealing a car name, which is just literally a rebadged Mitsubishi Eclipse. I guess that's more American than anything, is just taking from everybody else.
Ooh, scathing political commentary here in this BumbleKast.
Otherwise, it could just be President Michael Wilson from Metal Wolf Chaos.
Okay, you win. That is the correct answer.
Of course, we need him in piloting the mech because we need that.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I retire. Kyle is now king of Sonic.
And and Vice President Richard Hawk. And yes, and now we're getting the Metal Wolf Chaos and Sonic crossover we all deserve.
Need it. Give it to me. Right in the veins.
The fact is that it would be it wouldn't really change much.
Not in the slightest. I love it.
Not really. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Who would come out on top in a kaiju free-for-all between Perfect Chaos, Iblis, Mothmason, Gaia Phoenix, Giganto, and Titan Metal Sonic? Feel free to throw in any giant monsters I overlooked.
Giganto. I mean, not to play favorites to the new boy, but this thing is like built to defeat the End, or at least hold its own against one of the most potent destructive forces in the known universe.
Yeah.
I mean, Perfect Chaos and Iblis would stick around for a while, to be sure. Mothmason, Gaia Phoenix, Titan Metal Sonic, small time. They'd get smushed, splashed, burnt, drowned, whatever. But like, Giganto went multiple rounds with Supersonic. And you could argue that Perfect Chaos did as well. And you could maybe say that Supersonic was pulling his punches because he wasn't trying to, blow a hole straight through Perfect Chaos.
Darn.
But
should have been.
Of course, there's also the issue that Iblis just couldn't die. Every time Silver or anybody put a hurting on him, he would just come back in a new form. So maybe he wins just by endurance?
Maybe. I don't know, man. Either way, Godzilla's going to come in and curb stomp them all, so.
Well, yeah, but...
We've never had an actual, like, even serial numbers filed off Godzilla appearance in Sonic, have we?
Not really, no.
No, I don't think so. Maybe something to pitch.
Plenty of kaiju, but no, like, big old lizard.
Yeah.
Many gigantic reptiles, but no Godzilla, big boy.
No. How would you handle a crossover between Sonic and the Mighty/New Crusaders?
Multiple dimension shenanigans. Simple enough. Maybe Sonic takes a wrong turn into Albuquerque and winds up on the blue ribbon and shows up in a red circle to help defeat the villain du jour and assist the Mighty Crusaders. Or some villain causes cross-dimensional bleed over, and you've got some characters in Sonic's world and some in the Mighty Crusaders world, and they have to work together and experience these different worlds to defeat the bad guys and restore the status quo. Yeah,
The usual.
nothing really inventive. It's more of an excuse plot to have fun with the characters interacting.
Just a little bit of the usual, you know? All right. And we got a couple more. At the end of your time on the Mighty Crusaders, you revealed the Atlantean Eternos had been awakened from his slumber. Do you remember if you had any plans for him, such as his powers and any connections to the old Mighty Crusaders foe, Eternal the Tyrant?
Eternos was a remix / update of Eterno, because I felt Eterno felt very dated as a villain term. Putting that S on the end just felt a little more grounded. I know Kate books, it's all silly, but I had an easier time saying Eternos with a straight face rather than Eterno. We also really had to work around that ridiculous Fu Manchu mustache. That was something. It's too bad because there were an additional 2 issues planned and had to be cut last minute, and those all revolved around Eternos' big gambit and would have been setting up the next story arc. But he was going to be a more serious revisit of Eterno and all of his tropes, the gigantic humanoid robots that were buried underground being just ridiculously overpowered in terms of superhuman base abilities. I don't remember if we had anything else immediately planned for him, but I was basically more or less setting him up to be the Insabanur / Apocalypse of the Mighty Crusader universe, and was going to have fun making him just evil and ridiculously powerful. And how will our heroes ever triumph? And the answer is the book dies, so they don't have to worry about it.
Through the power of the end. Through the power of nothing. Oh, man. Oh, well.
Nothing can stop me except for a very limited print run.
And low sales, I assume. Such a shame. It's a good book. You guys should go read it. All right, we got one more question. If you had to recolor a major character to a completely new color, such as Sonic being orange or Knuckles being green, who would you pick and what color would you make them? This color change must be on them for at least a year, or until the angry mob breaks into your Sega-approved panic room. So, tomorrow then.
I don't know. I'd like to roll SBO's colors back to his classic palette.
Yeah.
The darker purple, green on the shoes. I mean, what's there is bad, but he looks very monochrome.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
His general design's all right. He looks sleek and badass, but I was never really satisfied with his color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah. Just make Tails brown again.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, fine. Don't do that.
I will knife fight you over that one.
Okay, well, fine. If I can't do that, then I'm going to at least make Knuckles green. Forever.
Yeah, you have fun with that and the repercussions.
Yeah, well, never let it be said that I leave a hornet's nest undisturbed.
Before Kyle can cause any more villainy, we're going to cut it off there. Thank you to Johnny B. Good for sponsoring this episode. If you want a mini of your own, head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member.
See you next time.